It's 12:08 p.m. on Sunday, the 2nd of May, 2010. I'm Mark Strassman, reporter with Utopia News. I'm about to speak to Joe Mathews, who's a senior fellow at the New America Foundation. Welcome back to Utopia News.
Great to be with you, Mark.
You're co-president of the 2010 Global Forum on Modern Direct Democracy. Tell our listeners, what is direct democracy?
It is essentially, for the purpose of this forum, initiative and referendum, what's long been called direct legislation, folks passing judgment on or even creating, voters creating legislation themselves. It can be recall, where folks are, voters act to take someone out of office. And we're also going to look at different other kinds of participatory models, citizens' juries, and others. We have sort of a broad definition. One of the goals of the forum, it's a free public event, bringing people together from around the world who have experience with initiative and referendum, other models, is to sort of develop a common global language, a sort of glossary, so that we define this term and all the different pieces of it.
Okay, and what would you say the purpose of this global forum is exactly?
Exactly, it's to bring together people who share a lot of knowledge and could be very useful to each other, but don't know each other. In California, for example, where we are, lots of people are involved in initiative referendum and have almost no dealings with folks who are involved in initiative referendum in other cities, other states, other countries, even though the tools are not that different from place to place. The goal is to bring these folks together so they know each other and then do very specific things, which are begin to develop ways to gather and collect and distribute data, particularly online, essentially build a database, and also then begin to have a discussion and also produce, hopefully, documents that look at what are the best practices, what's the best way to do initiative referendum and other direct democracy models.
Who are some of the people who are going to be presenting there?
There'll be all sorts of folks, academics, journalists, activists, some elected officials. Of the ones we've announced to this point, Wayne Pacelli, who's the president of the Humane Society of the United States, which has been the most successful in terms of winning and also one of the most productive in terms of putting measures on the ballot around the country over the issue of animal protection. He'll talk about the possibilities of this as an organizing tool. We'll hear from I think the person is the world's leading academic in this area, but is not well known in this country, David Altman, who teaches at a university in Santiago, Chile. David has sort of been the most effective at collecting data around the world on all direct democratic events and trying to categorize it and see where the trends are. We'll hear from him. We may have some sort of high-profile elected officials, but we're not quite ready to say who those folks are at this point.
Okay. And who should attend? First of all, is it free, and who should attend?
It's free. Anyone who shows up will let in. It would be nice if you register so we know who you are. We'll have a badge for you at a website, www.2010globalforum.com. Anyone who has an interest with, wants to know more, has experience with direct democracy at any level should come. Love to have people, particularly locally from California, from Northern California, but anyone who has an interest in this should come. We're also raising some money to try to support and subsidize the travel and lodging of people who otherwise couldn't afford to come, particularly people coming from very far away or from poorer parts of the world or country. But really, this is open to anyone, and you'll hear a wide variety of perspectives. And there's no partisan cast to this. I think of the people registered, we have members of 50 different political parties around the world. I would say that the Americans seem to lean a little libertarian right, though there are plenty of people on the left too in this. And outside the country, it feels a little bit more, definitely more left than right. So, and that maybe sort of tell you a little bit about who is most often using direct democracy, both here in the U.S. and overseas.
Okay, now we've talked somewhat about what's going to be happening there, but we haven't gotten to the basic journalistic questions about when and where and so on. When and where is this going to be taking place?
It's going to be July 31st through August 4th, starting the morning of Saturday, July 31st, going through about 2 in the afternoon on Wednesday, August 4th. at the Louis B. Mayer Student Lounge, which is on the first floor of the University of California Hastings College of Law. That's a UC law school, right in the heart of San Francisco, just a couple blocks east of City Hall.
Okay, and is there going to be a different program every day?
There is.
What's the schedule basically?
The first 2 days, the Saturday, the July 31st and Sunday, August 1st, are very much focused on the U.S. We'll have some sort of comparative work with overseas, but to try to organize it for people who can't get away for 5 days, we've tried to make the first 2 days kind of U.S. focused, and then August 2nd through 4th are more kind of California and the world. If there's a distinction, and actually things do get kicked off. Friday night, July 30th, there'll be sort of an opening reception also there at Hastings in a different room from about 7 to 9 p.m. And if you're really interested from where you are around the world, we're also offering a kind of a 2-day pre-briefing tour, Thursday the 29th and Friday the 30th if you sign up for that. That would cost a little bit of money, so we can cover the cost of doing it, but we'll take you around the Bay Area and Sacramento and meet lots of folks who are involved in ballot initiative politics and direct democracy in California, get a glimpse at some campaigns, and that's for people who are very much into this.
Okay, and what's your best case scenario for the kind of impact that the event is going to have worldwide?
Well, I mean, it's hard to know that. If we launch this tool, which we're tentatively calling the Navigator, which we hope will be a database where we collect reliable information on direct democracy, both the models and the actual actions, that could have untold impact around the world as people really begin to compare and start to think what's the best way to do this. And hopefully, places move towards better direct democratic models. I'm from California, and my focus of my journalistic work is on California. And my hope is that this event in California will inspire some real reflection by Californians about how we structure our direct democracy. We are very much out of, from what I can tell, very much not normal in how we do this. No one does direct democracy like we do. And I think I'm hopeful that this will be something of a global intervention for California, where experts and practitioners from other places come and tell us how they do it, and we may see that there are sort of better ways to do it than the way we sort of structure our direct democracy within our larger representative democracy. That's my goal for this, and I think that'll succeed. I think we're going to push the very narrow reform conversation in California much more broadly, and then we're going to provide tools and a real conversation and connection from people around the world to do more work in this, to compare and to make these systems work better where they exist.
Okay, one more time, tell people how they can get more information and register.
www.2010globalforum.com. Again, it's free to be there. You just have to register. There's also information there if you're traveling for some discount hotels that we've set up. Act early. The early bird rates, which are very good for summer in San Francisco, go away right around June 7th. But it's $99 tonight at one hotel and $109 in the other. But we just would love to see you. And anyway, if you can get yourself to San Francisco, it's free to walk in that door, and we'll even provide lunch.
Good. Okay. Well, thanks very much, and I hope we can talk again more as the event unfolds.
Thank you very much, Mark. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Bye.